I would like to applaud the devs for their work to rework water, to make water better. I personally liked water even before the rework, and it's still pretty good. I can't say I like it or dislike it. More or less, it's a wash. I still enjoy water. I still enjoy hybrid maps. Mediterranean is a hybrid map. I was playing a 1v1 on Mediterranean the other day though, and it got me feeling like the devs are trying to um, de-emphasize water, try and take water out of water maps, turn hybrid maps into land maps. So here's the first generation that popped up when I generated a Mediterranean map in the editor. This actually, even though this looks, frankly, this is not what I would expect from a Mediterranean map. I want to be across from my enemy, right? I'm here, he's over here. What's going on here? But as it turns out, this is a fairly common generation. There's some generations that are a problem, in my opinion. But I would say even this generation here is a little bit wacky. I wouldn't say it's completely unacceptable, but it's a little bit strange. Let's keep going. Look at this tiny pond. That's still not terrible. That's exactly what I would expect from Mediterranean. That's exactly what I would expect from a Mediterranean. What is this? Look at all this land. Aside from the fish boom, the water barely plays a role. Let's keep going. Okay, that's pretty standard. That's good. Look at this. Look how tiny this pond is. I mean, this half of the map could be Arabia. Let's just push the water off out of the way. No one likes water anyway, right? You pick Mediterranean because you meant to actually pick Arabia, right? Okay, there. That's a good generation. I like that. Good. Okay. Look at this. So this is the kind of map I played on the other day. I started like walling this side. This is actually really bad. Because I wasn't sure which side of the lake the enemy was on. As it turns out, he was right here. What is this? This is just awful. That's fine. It's okay, I guess. It's okay. Fine. Yeah. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay too. That's okay too. That's fine. Look at this. What is this? Now, if you kind of want a map that is somewhat unpredictable in terms of generation, I guess this is fine. In fact, that's what I like about hybrid maps is that often there's more unpredictability to them than, say, all land maps like Arabia. It's just this is very like it feels to me like this is a new generation that I haven't seen before. And when you push the water off to one side like this, and this becomes very much a land map with a little bit of water, kind of like 4 lakes, right? Okay, let's look at some HD generations. I pulled this from the HD version of the game from the Age of Kings, so the Data X1 or whatever folder. So this would be what it was like in Age of Kings. Okay, standard. Well, that's perfectly standard too. Uh-huh. Yeah, good. That's okay. I mean, you're still on the same side, but the lake's large, right? It still is prominent. Prominent lake. You're across the water. You're still across the water. In all these cases, water is a prominent part of the game, right? Not great, but still okay. Yep. Good. Good. Standard Mediterranean. This is like the first map I started playing Age of Empires on. Back during AOE1. Okay. So maybe the devs haven't screwed with the map script. This is a little bit weird, right? So maybe it's I still feel like it's more common of a generation now for the water to be pushed out of the way. It's a lot more work to find a weird generation. I feel like the chances of a small amount of water are higher in the DE version of Arabia. Okay, this is pretty bad. But still, this is a very large lake. It's just the positioning is weird. And it's very uncommon. I've only come across 2 like this. I don't know, guys. Maybe I'm just okay. Okay. So maybe it hasn't changed. But I am sensitive to this because there are maps that have changed. Let's look at Nomad for one thing. Let's take a look at Nomad. Okay. This is the typical, stereotypical Nomad generation. They always look like there's sometimes a lake, sometimes the land connects to the edge. You always have this thin band of water around the edge, enough for a fish boom, but not much else. You get these lake generations. Sometimes the lake connects to the ocean, kind of like that one there. But it's very predictable, extremely predictable. It was not always so. Let's look at the original Nomad map. This was Nomad in the old days. Now, I'm not saying this is great. Like, look at this fish distribution. It's terrible. But look at the shape of the land. It's so lopsided. I miss this. Look how weird this land distribution is. It's not nearly as predictable. I mean, does it fundamentally change the gameplay on Nomad? No, but this is a far more interesting map to explore because it can be so different. The variation is so high. Let's look at the Conqueror's script. Very much the same. Like, I miss this. Why did they change it? Made it far more predictable. When you're playing Nomad, you're kind of going for a little bit of unpredictability. I like this. I miss this. Oasis is another map that's changed for the, I would say, for the worse. Okay, this is modern day Oasis. Massive amount of trees, this tiny bit of water in the center. It's really just a land map with trees in the middle. This doesn't even matter. You're not chopping through to the center. Not above like 1,000 elo. Not even above 800 elo, right? The game's not going to last that long, I don't think. And who cares? Chop to the center. It's meaningless. This doesn't factor into the map at all. It's just some shallows, some predators. Who cares? It's completely uninteresting. Let's look at, this is the HD map script for the Age of Kings version of Oasis. Much larger water, thinner trees. You can fish boom. You can, well, not really fish boom because you'd be later into the game by the time you got to water. But water actually kind of matters now. Okay, not on this map. There you go. There's even some sheep. Sheep. Look here. Here you can actually access the water immediately. Isn't this interesting? This is a cool map. This is far more interesting to me. The Conquerors, they kind of like they took the fish out. No fish anymore. But still, aside from that, very much the same as it was in the Kings. Or, sorry, Age of Kings. But the original Oasis was a far more interesting map. And now we've got this pathetic excuse for a map. And you know why? You know why? Because not that long ago, there was a YouTuber I watched named Poop Lord who did the, New Oasis meta. They would build a bunch of cannon galleons and hide in the center of the map with transport ships, and they would basically grief the opponent. Then when the opponent, either the opponent would resign or they would just walk away from their computer, then they'd unload and they'd retake the map. I understand it's a really annoying strategy to deal with, but come on, this isn't tournament play. At worst, it's ranked play. Who cares if it's perfectly even all the time? It's a few elo points that you can gain back later. I mean, I really wish they hadn't changed Oasis. Not that I played a lot of Oasis, but I have no interest in Oasis anymore. I only play it if I can't ban it. Another one that they've ruined is Pilgrims. I do know my... There we go, Pilgrims. What is the function of a monastery on the mainland? You know what it is? It's to direct new players that the mainland is over there. You should load up and go over there. It doesn't work. Players unfamiliar with the map still drop their town center on their little island. And all it does for everyone else is it biases where people drop off. Because, oh, there, I have some explored area on the map. Before, it was an unexplored landmass. And yes, the generation is very predictable. You basically get this bum, right? These two lobes. It's very predictable. But this bothers me. Like, why do you do this? I don't like it. I wish they would stop futzing with the map scripts. I know to a certain extent you need to, because you have to add new wildlife and new climates and all the rest as new DLC is introduced, but I don't like it. Now, in fairness, in Age of Kings, this was Pilgrims. So I think it's changed for the better. Although I did enjoy the Nomad League relocated version of Nomads, which is very similar. Oh, sorry, Pilgrims. I'm talking about Pilgrims here. This is basically a straight ripoff with probably a little bit of work on balancing the map. What do you think? Am I just being a grumpy old man? I wish that they would stop de-emphasizing water on maps. I like my hybrid maps. Just leave them alone. Anyway, that's all I got. Catch you next time.